Morning, friends. Welcome. Doing some painting.
Have you started?
Yep. Haha. G'day, Insantium. So, things have progressed at a rapid rate on the diorama this week. Just turn that up a smidge. Absolute rapid rate. Did a resin pour. I've concluded the dragon. And I've got touch-ups on a few models to go. And then I reckon we are done. So I will show it off. Sorry, we're not done. We've got two models that have a lot of work to go. This chick, still got a fair bit to go on her. And then this guy, who I'm saving entirely for last. So this is the last model to paint. Very enthusiastic about painting that guy. I've completed the dragon entirely. And it looks sick. And then I just did this chick. So I need to add some more green tones because they look shit house at the moment. But I'll do that now. So yeah, today's episode of Big Dono Paints is all about just getting every other model done so that we can start the last guy. Everything else is done. I've got a few things I want to do to the base, but we're basically done. I'd be keen to know when I restarted actually the diorama because it just feels like I've hit the afterburners. In my head we just had so much to go and it was absolutely draining, but here we are. A couple of days later. What feels like a couple of days later. And we're done. Yeah, so she's a fun little model. I have enjoyed painting her. I've enjoyed painting everything in this last little swathe. Actually, the skeletons were sensational fun. Absolutely sensational. Yeah, let's actually have a look at the diorama because it's sitting here. I have a few concerns actually, but we'll talk about those as we're looking at the diorama. How have you done that, Deno? How have you done that? You absolute peanut. Alright. Let's zoom back out. Going the wrong way? No, there we go. Time stop. I do have my work at Verco's fold, yes. And if we're very, very fortunate, we'll see. This one may also be there. Okay, here we go. The diorama. So yeah, I've got a few issues. First of all, we've done the resin pour. Get out of the way, Cable. We've done the resin pour on the water. And that's going great, except for the fact that it's got a little bit of it's not quite cured. It's been 24 hours, so that's not ideal. It possibly means I've got the mixture wrong. It should still harden up over the next couple of days, hopefully, because if it doesn't, we're in big trouble. But yeah, so we've got the horseman in there. So I'm going to add some greenish airbrush spraying under him there, because he just looks a little underdone to me. So I'm going to add some green with the airbrush. These two look pretty cool. This skeleton's coming out of the ground again. I feel a little bit like I had some problems with my varnish. My varnish has created a lot of issues on this paint, on this thing, so I'm switching varnish. But up here, I'm also contemplating changing it. I glued this guy down and I glued the dog down, but I'm thinking I'll put this guy in a different spot. Where's me big fella? So this guy is going to put him here because I feel like he's a stronger paint job. But I'm thinking I might move the dog, or move this guy over to his dog and put this guy here. But, yeah, no, maybe I'll stick with it. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and then we've got the dragon down here. So the dragon looks sick. She rides on top of the dragon. At the moment, she's got a lot of warm tones, so I just want to add some green to her on top of the dragon. And then this bottom area here, we're going to do another resin pour here, so I've got to prepare for that, and then we're going to do a little waterfall type thing down there. We've got two more skeletons which can go in place now. They're ready to go. This guy, we've got three skeletons actually. This guy's running up the stairs. And then this guy, he's sort of back here. So there's skeleton hordes running up this hill to get to the church, and then our last horseman goes here. And yeah, so probably some things that I need to do. I need to add some more hanging vines to this area, just to clean that area up a bit. And I'm going to add leaves across the whole base, because I think that'll help. It just, like, at the moment, the ground looks good, but when you add leaves and just do some little highlights on it, it always looks better. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I've got 6 models that I'm going to try and finish off today. 7 models I'm going to try and finish off today, and then we'll start painting the horseman as the last one. That's my face there. The horseman will do tomorrow, or maybe I'll start it today. It'll depend. No, the tree's actually from a board game called Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. I do need it for that game, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do when that comes around, and it comes with 5 trees, so are the walls. I've got 2 walls and a thing from Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Let's rock and roll. Alright. Alexa, airbrush on. Hello to you, Sleepy Slang. Next diorama, we're going to do something a little bit smaller. I'm going to do my little Victorian era blacksmith miniatures. Cool guys. That'll probably be the next one I do. I've actually got the Mindworks Games Oz, which I forgot about. that I wouldn't mind doing. It's a great question, Sleepy Slang. It really is. When you talk about art, people don't get slumps from art. People get slumps from the pressure that comes with feeling like they need to achieve something. Because art comes from a place of wanting to create something and feeling excited and enthusiastic and passionate. Slumps come from this perspective that we need to create. You know, that we need to achieve something. And the waters get muddied for a person such as yourself when this is also a career, right? When you paint miniatures for commission. And it's a different conversation for both of those sort of situations. I've had a slump. I've had a slump for a long time around this diorama. And when you think about it, it wasn't because I didn't enjoy the diorama or what I was doing. It was because I was feeling like I had to finish it, feeling like I had this pressure to create something, which I don't. There's absolutely no pressure, right? It's all perception. I didn't need to finish this. There's absolutely no financial reason for me to need to complete this. So the answer to your question, after my little blab there, is do something that you love, do something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be the thing that you're working on, and that's why I think we've got to normalise having unfinished projects on our shelf. I've got about 7 unfinished projects up there, and they're all cool, and they're all things that I'd like to come back to, but if I don't, I think that's okay, you know? That's just okay. You don't have to be finishing creating everything. Alexa, airbrush off. Yeah, that's a good point. Oftentimes it'll be, for me, I don't really feel like painting, but then you sit down and you start doing it, you're like, yeah, it's cool. I love it. What are you talking about? Just do the thing, you pest. But yeah, you're in the unfortunate situation where it's part of your job, and that's hard. I used to switch my airbrush quite frequently between what I perceived as a detail airbrush and a uh, base coating airbrush, but what I've realised is that I don't feel like cleaning my my detail airbrush, and so because of that, I'm doing everything with my base coat airbrush, which is also quite fine for detail, and it is a Iwata Eclipse HPCS. Yes, that is my reason for not using my detail airbrush, even though it is a smaller nozzle and it does actually be more precise. I find I can get away with this one just through my additional levels of skill. I'd like to try a few different airbrushes actually. I've only ever really used Iwata and then another brand called Pashk. I'd like to try some of the Harder and Steenback or some of the other ones that people talk about, but it's more important to get good at what you got rather than trying different things. So, and I really like the Iwata. I think they're really good. That's a good suggestion in Sentium. Yeah, and it sort of is reinforcing what I was saying a little bit, which is pick something that you think is going to be fun and just paint that. Do the thing that you used to get excited about and passionate about. Alrighty. Yeah, okay. I'm sure there's some good ones. Good airbrushes. While we're on the topic of cool stuff, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be doing a stream painting this guy. This guy's from the upcoming Kickstarter from Mindworks Games for their board game, miniature skirmish game called Paradise. Looks pretty cool. I'm actually got a. Is the moss good? Yeah, it's the same game Marco painted up. Yep. Is the moss one good? Yeah, I've been keen to get the moss one for a little while. I feel like I'd use that a lot. Yeah, I'll have to get the moss. The rust one is just so good. Like I've, it's become almost an integral part of the stuff that I paint. I'll be honest, I didn't even know they had a snot and a blood one. Yeah, I realised I'm never going to be an Andy Wardle, a guy who can just do incredible things at small scales, or a Dave Colwell for that matter. I had that revelation a few years ago. I will never be able to paint the way those guys paint. But a wonderful lesson in life is to not look at other people and think to yourself, I wish I could do that. It's better to look over and think, I hope those guys have enough. And be satisfied and happy with what you've got. Okay, I've used the Yoo-Hoo glue for quite a while and have felt pretty happy with it. So if that's the case, I'm sure it'll be a worthwhile addition. I went through my bits box the other day, so I moved into the new studio, and I'm gonna stop calling it that because it's literally just a room. No, fuck it, I'm gonna call it the studio. I'm gonna get a sign made up. Big Dano Studio. So I pulled my bits box apart, started from the ground up, rebuilt it, making sure I only kept stuff that was usable and chucked everything else out. Took me about 4 hours. But I separated it into boxes. So I've got stuff there now that is like a box full of natural bits box stuff, so sticks and stones that haven't broken my bones. And then another one for like 3D printed stuff. So yeah, next time I have a fun project that I really need this type of thing. Just be able to go over to my bits box and look for that particular thing. G'day, Match Fixer. I unfortunately though have observed that I've got a very large percentage of heads from figures. Just lots and lots of heads. So that's not going to be super useful. Yes, that's true. That is true. Alright. really love the green on this at the moment, but I think I'll stick with it because of the tie-in with the rest of the guys. Should really turn me palette back on. Oop. Yeah, I'm not. I just don't know that I'm loving the overall vibe. It's not bad. I'm just trying to think of how it ties in with everything else in the scene. And I think we'll stick with it because, hello, Mini Me Dark. Mini Me Dark? Yeah, we'll stick with it. It's okay. Alright, I'm going to put her on the model, I think, and figure out if I need to do anything else with her. Let's do this guy. So this is the angle for this guy. I just want to put some more highlighting on this side so that he just looks a tiny little bit more polished than the rest. Oh, I've lost the lid. There we go. It's one thing that I do on my dioramas, which is a lesson, if you will, for people that are considering doing this crazy sort of shit. Everything doesn't need to be painted to the same standard across the whole diorama, across the whole piece. You need to draw your focus on areas where it really matters. So this guy right at the front, the horsey guy that I'm going to paint starting tomorrow, they need to be at a primo level. They're the key focal point. Feels so good to be getting to the end of this. Especially after a almost 12-month absence, would you believe? 12 months away from this project. I think I started planning this project in 2023, and then I ordered the models and they arrived in 2024. before. I feel like it was around Feb. And so I started the build April, I reckon. And then the project just stalled for a few months. And I came back to it for a little bit. I did some work part way through there. But then we hit a block again. As we were talking about before. My way to get out of that was just to focus on doing stuff that made me feel good, happy, painting stuff wise and playing games. And there's new Kingdom Death stuff coming too. Yes, Kingdom Death. Pretty soon, actually. Shipping right now. The Red Witches and the Pariah and some other little bits and pieces, some Wanderers and so forth. That's all coming in the next probably 2 months. Which is very exciting for me. Kingdom Death being my real passion project. Yeah, I reckon I've done more Kingdom Death than just about anything else at this point. More to go. Alright. So we're putting a fork in him. Putting a fork in him. Need to fix this guy's sword. Can I put a fork in him? I think I just want to do a little bit of airbrushing. Alexa, airbrush on. Oh, Jan. Hey, Jan. Welcome, friends. We are nearing the home stretch on this crazy big diorama that I'm working on. What are you working on at the moment, Jan? Yes, welcome, friends. For those that are new, I do all sorts of stuff on here, but mostly dioramas, big silly dioramas that look like this. Alexa, airbrush off. Probably too big, so we'll fix that. Thanks, mate. Yeah, appreciate your raid. Have a good sleep. Yes, it is evening time over there in the UK. Tainted Grail. Yeah, I'd like to play the game. I might download it. Love King Arthur. We're knights of the round table, we dance whenever we're able. That should be enough. Here's one I prepared earlier. I played through the board game with which that game is based upon. It's very good. Very good. Nice one, Dano. You pillock. I want to push the pram a lot. No. So Fall of Avalon was based on a board game called Tainted Grail. Yep. And they made a first-person board game out of it, or computer game out of it. Yeah. Oh, is this not? Oh. Yeah, I think they made a second one. But maybe I'm wrong. It's happened before. About 4 years ago. I want to push the pram a lot. the only thing that happens guaranteed every time I'm working on a crazy project like this is just my desk area becomes chaotic, becomes absolute bedlam. There's just stuff everywhere from all manner of crazy different things that you need to do when you're doing a project like this. I'm also going to order some little speakers. We're going to have some sounds and a smoke machine for this one. Crazy stuff. Smoke machine will be fun. Smoke machine will be fun. Alright, that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dudes finished. So let's look at this chick. So this one's the biggest problem, I think. Well, it's going to... Oh, Dano, what are you doing? I was going to get a thunder, like a lightning sound effect. Lightning and the thunder, 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 and the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, thunder. This chick is definitely the problem. If I... Where? No, that's not... Oh, did I? There. Good work. Good pickup, slangers. So we're dealing with a small problem. Yeah, happy little accident, that's fine. We're dealing with a small problem with the diorama. The resin pour still being tacky. I did the pour yesterday. It's been 24 hours. And that resin, I feel like, has dried in 24 hours normally. Now, I may be misremembering, and I'm sure I could just read the bottle and it would tell me the answer to my question. But what's some solutions that we can have for a resin pour not fully hardening? Keen to take your advice because it's a problem. What do you mean by safe? I live life on the edge, mate. Okay. Yeah, I don't rate UV resin very much, but I do have Envirotex, which I've used many times with great success. So I think I'll just give it another couple of days, because I did a really big resin pour on Camelot, really big one, filled in this lake for the Lady of the Lake, and I feel like, I can't quite remember, but I feel like that that took more than 24 hours to dry. I'm gonna grab the box. I need to know now. Platinum. River Table Epoxy is a clear FDA approved food grade, low viscosity, anti-UV, anti-yellowing. Specially formulated to release bubbles and develop less heat. That's important. This is like a really, like a proper one. Mix 2 parts resin with 1 part base. Alright, Platinum River Table Epoxy. I'm going to Google it. Platinum River Table Epoxy resin. Okay, so how long does it take to dry? Can be cast from a minimum thickness of 1 millimeter to a maximum thickness of 50 millimeters. Can be ambient cured. Initial cure is 24 hours, with mid cure 3 days. Final cure 10 days. Hello, Xtab. Yeah, food grade. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people use it for kitchen tables, and then they can put food on it. It's not gonna. I don't know. In cold weather. Oh, maybe it's to do with heat. It says 3 days for cure, so I'm not going to be concerned just yet. Just yet. Maybe. No, I'm concerned, but it'll be fine. Because I've used Envirotex many times. And so that'll be what my solution will be, is I'll just do a thin layer of Envirotex over the top, and we'll hope for the best. We are indeed locked in. Thank you, No Mana Man. Yeah, she probably should be. She probably should be white or grey. She should be, but we've got her in some colourful clothes. Oh, yes. All right. I am just really feeling good about the fact that we're now most definitely into the home stretch. It is indeed, Xtab. It is indeed. And let's have a look at it actually, because it's sitting right here, and I might even put some dudes in it so you can see what it looks like. I'm excited. I'm big Kev excited. Let's put these models in. Oh, it's good. It's going to look good. This is the first time I think we're going to have to put basically everything in. Why would you get in your home? Whew. Oh, I should do an Andor diorama. That'd be sick. I haven't started season 2 yet. I finished season 1 in preparation, and I was loving it. And I haven't started season 2. Maybe I'll start it tonight. I'll watch Captain America Brave New World instead of starting it, because it came out on Disney Plus. Let's put her in too. She can go in. In you go, pretty floaty lady. Oh. This is cool. This is very cool. No, Brave New World was terrible. It was pretty bad. I haven't seen Marvel movie that bad in a long time. Yeah. Alright, where are you going, big boy? Which foot of yours needs to be? It's your right foot, I see. Oh, get excited! It's looking good. I should probably put this dude on there as well. All right, let's just have a look now. All right. Sorry for everyone that saw this at the start of the stream. You get to see it again. But you get to see it with all the dudes on now. No, I don't weigh the dioramas. I should. That would be a very interesting thing to observe. Alright, so here it is in all its glory. Look at it. Yes. So yeah, there's the full scene. People forget how good Game of Thrones was in season 2, 3, 4, 5. People forget. It was killer. Yeah, so we've got one more model that goes on there, which is this chick. She goes here, standing at the gates. This chick goes on the dragon, and I'm probably going to glue her down now or soon. And then the last model, it's not Game of Thrones inspired. It's like, I don't know what you would call the inspiration for this. Being in love with skeletons. Being in love with skeleton dudes. I need to paint a symbol on that banner. We've got the water. That's looking cool. There's going to be more water down the bottom here. This little big guy at the back there just hanging out. Let's hope me resin cure is okay. Maybe just tone that down a bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's good versus evil at a church. And the bad guys are going to win because skeletons. Let's talk about this Minger. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this chick. Get into it, no mana man. Get into it, mate. Maybe I need to add some gold. Yep. Always believe in. Yep, I'm link friendly. You can post whatever you want in here, mate. Pretty much. My mods don't get up this early in the morning, so It's a free-for-all in the morning streams. My friend Jared, JC Paints, great painter. Should all go follow him on Instagram. He sends me one of those Skeletor memes probably once every week, and they're always very, very, very amusing. I immediately feel better about this model. I'm glad. This one's inspired by Mossy, but it's got a bent sword. That's not why it's inspired by Mossy, but it does have a bent sword that I need to fix. I really wish that I was better at painting when it comes to a model like this, because she is a really nice model. I am just not quite good enough to make her look as good as she deserves. Yep, me too. I'm going to fix it right now. Hairdryer is the key to success in just about every endeavour, mate. It will fix a multitude of problems. Won't fix that many. But it will certainly fix bent figures, and it will help your paint dry quicker. I too have long hair. It's working beautifully. I haven't tried actually. I'm probably getting close. I don't know. I don't know if that is. It'll get there. It'll get there. Patience. This is my midlife crisis that we're talking about. Right, grow my hair long. Does feel like it's slowed down dramatically. Bald as an egg. Alright, let's do some gold. Gold. Always believe in gold. You're indestructible. I did some renovations the other day on my house. Although renovations is a very loose term, I had an air conditioner installed into this room, and the air conditioner that existed in this room previously was from the 70s or 80s. It was a very, very old thing that didn't work anymore. One of those ones that's stuck in the wall. And so I got a proper one installed, which is great, but we took the old one out and I realised there's a gigantic hole in the wall. Gigantic hole. So I got some bricks and I bricked up the hole, and then I used some gyprock to fill the hole from this side, and then I painted it. And it looks good. And I've learned some lessons about how to lay bricks. But one of the most important lessons I've learned about how to lay bricks is to pay someone else to lay bricks. That's impressive. Yeah. No, I got nothing but respect for people that are handy people, can do that. I'm just not that way inclined. I mean, I've got a drill, and I can hang shit on the wall, but that's about me. That's about the extent of what I can do. No, kudos to you, mate. That's, I'd love to be able to say I built my own house. Mind you, to do that, you need to be able to afford to buy property and a house. Not that easy. Not that easy. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm easy. Yeah. I'm easy like Sunday morning. I wanna be high, so high. I wanna be free to know that things will be alright. I wanna be free, so free. Ah, it sounds like a delight. I'm not a big social gathering type of person. In general, much happier at home. But I do very much look forward to Tuesday nights, which is the night where I go hang out with my friends and play board games. We laugh. We laugh a lot. Yes, now I'm the opposite of that. If given a choice, I would quite happily stay here in my room for the longest time. Do I like my friends? I love my friends. They're wonderful people. I'm just hard work sometimes, I'm sure. I look back on COVID as one of the best things that happened to me. And I think I could say respectfully, for most people, it was one of the best things that happened to us. You know, it's fundamentally changed society. Working from home now is an accepted norm, and started being conscious of health more. You know, we've normalised people taking time off. Yeah, I think it just changed society for the better in many ways. Like, we actually gave a shit about each other. It's a weird time, but I think it's contributed to a slightly kinder society. Yeah, I do struggle with that. People still stand way too close to me at shopping centres. That are like in lines. I always turn around and give them a bit of a the look. Do we need to be that close, champion? Do we? Come on now. What's your take, Xtab, or what's the take that you normally hear? Because I always like hearing other perspectives. Hmm. Yeah, so that's a retrospective of the lockdown. Uh, I think during lockdown, it was definitely a challenge for a lot of reasons and for a lot of people. Um, people lost their jobs. There's just no. I was responsible for people losing their jobs. I was the person who had to go and tell them, we are letting you go. So there was definitely aspects of it that were really challenging. Where Xtab, where are you based? You're in Australia? I can't remember. Yeah. I have a very fortunate perspective because I think in Australia, our government did a pretty reasonable job. Um, there was absolutely mistakes made, and they didn't get it right in every instance. But we had a really good response to COVID and the way that it was managed, especially here in Brisbane. I mean, we had 7 cases one weekend across the entirety of a state, and they locked us down for the weekend just to try and prevent it. So yeah, we were pretty fortunate here, and that's obviously coloured my perspective on the whole situation as well. I'm sure that other people would feel very differently based on where they were. Well, Board Games and Games Workshop and everyone, solo gaming, it's been a golden age, hasn't it? No, they did a really, really good job here. Um, State by state, it was just well handled. Yeah, COVID, was that when I started doing Twitch? 2020? I think so, yeah. I think so. Yeah, in Brisbane, it was a really different time for us. So, Victoria and Melbourne, they had a lot of cases, and they had a really challenging period of time. They were in lockdown for I think they were the city that was locked down for the most amount of time in the world. Um, in Melbourne, but then in Queensland, we had our borders shut to other states, and then there was basically no cases for that whole period of time. We had pretty much everything as per normal. Felt like the rest of the world was in this end times, and here was us just hanging around. I still play board games with my mates on a Tuesday night. So yeah, it was different for different people, wasn't it? But yeah, when I look back on it retrospectively, it did a lot of positive things for society, I think. How do you do that? How do you do that in the UK? Like, public transport is just ubiquitous. I wonder what the percentage of increase in OnlyFans was around that time too, because that was certainly something that we saw a massive spike in, wasn't it? Insantium, I feel for you. That's a bad time. So yeah, I worked in an industry where we were dubbed essential workers, and so our business continued, but the customer flow in most states that wasn't Queensland just disappeared, absolutely disappeared. And so even though we were essential, there was just no work. And so they ended up shutting, I don't know, 60-70% of the stores, standing people down with no pay, and putting through some crazy stuff. But I was still kept on to work during that time, and I worked from home for a few months. But what happened as a result of that is the company disappeared out of Australia. So yeah, my company and the fact that I lost my job and everything just disappeared. It was a slow death, but COVID was really the thing that triggered it. So it's funny for me to talk about how great it was when, in many ways, the situation I'm in now is a direct result of what happened then. But the situation I'm in now is one that's ended up being really beneficial for me. So not everyone was that fortunate, I know. So. But yeah, the fact that just people got stood down and everything, it was a tough time. I remember feeling just like this general sense of anxiety for the first few, I would say, weeks. And as someone who just has coasted through life with basically no mental health worries, that was a really confronting experience to have. Yes, I'd love to see what you picked up 12 hours ago, as long as it's not COVID. Yeah, there was lots of things that was really difficult socially. People being too close, people not wearing masks. The level of disrespect shown to your fellow human was pretty challenging. Hey, Plank. Is that Sting? No, that can't be Sting. Is it just a different sword? I'd love to have a sword collection. That'd be so sick. That'd be absolutely legit. That's awesome. Yeah. On the flip side, the pandemic really brought out the worst in some people. This ain't a scene, it's a goddamn arms race. This ain't a scene. I'm a leading man, so intricate, so intricate, yeah. Yeah, I love weapons. One of the coolest places I've ever been to in my entire life was a place in the UK called the Leeds Armoury. It's this gigantic building that's got 5 levels of just weaponry from all throughout history. It is sick. Well worth the trip if you're in the UK. And if you're not in the UK, it's well worth the trip also. Yeah, how good is it? Yep, that's the one. I went there with the boys. We did a trip for War Machine. We travelled around the UK for a week in a van, and it was tremendous. We also got on each other's nerves. Hello there, Cragzog. Yeah, absolutely blew up at each other on multiple occasions. That's what happens when you get 10 dudes in a small space for a week. But it was also a great time. So yeah, we went all the way up north to the Leeds Armoury. And we stopped back in at Warhammer World. Manchester. And we went to a place called Maelstrom Games. I'm not sure if Maelstrom's still around or not, but they had an amazing area set up in, I think that was Nottingham. Might have been Manchester. And that was the first time I went to Harry Potter World, the Harry Potter Studio Tour. And it was a fantastic experience. Yeah, War Machine does appear to have found new life, doesn't it? That's good. I like War Machine. I actually saw that this morning, Craigsog, and I would like to commend you on what is a very cool execution and idea. Sometimes we don't need to take things quite as seriously as we do. Have I done any silly projects like that? I can't really think of anything silly that I've done like that. Maybe I should do some more silly stuff. No, steam forged. Yeah, still Matt Hart, still Rich Loxham, Jamie Perkins. Yeah. Well, Guild Ball was born out of a love of War Machine. Hello, Sean. Um, I, yeah, I'm sure I've talked about this a lot on here, but I'll talk about it again very briefly. I nearly went over and worked with them, worked for them, I should say. I was about 2016. Would be when it was right in the peak of Guild Ball and blah blah blah. And yeah, Matt Hart came over to Australia and we talked about game design and yeah, I interviewed for a job. I did a full interview and had to design a game system, sort of very simply. And yeah, and they offered me a job. They sent me a contract and I signed the contract and I started planning my life over in the UK. And at the time, my partner was on board. Would have been a pretty crazy change to the trajectory of my life. But there was an issue with my visa, and when I say issue, there wasn't anything wrong with my side of things. My visa application, Steamforge was involved in helping me procure it, and they were sort of holding up the paperwork. And I later found out, I didn't find out at the time, but I later found out that the person, Steamy, Matt, had sort of told them to delay things because there was they were really struggling with Dark Souls. Yeah, that was a Nasdreg yellow contrast paint, mate. They were struggling with being able to ship Dark Souls, and the company was basically in struggle town. So it went from being, I'm going to move over to the UK, to I am not moving over to the UK because they can't get their visa. I didn't find out about the visa reasoning until basically 12 months later, when things started to stabilise and they asked me if I still wanted a job. By that time, my job that I was working at here had really I'd really settled in and I was enjoying, so I ended up basically saying thank you but no thank you. And I think that's the right time. Or the right decision for me at the time. Still, would have been a wonderful life experience living over there. Hey Yab. And yes, there's no Deno Junior. I talk about myself as Deno Junior, as Craig Zog explained when I'm referring to my motivations for things. Coming into winter, and so my feet are cold. Every time I put the hairdryer on, I put the hot air on my feet. Ooh, feels good. For what bit, mate? I use Nasdreg yellow for my gold highlight wash, but I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, that was just a mix of whatever colours I had over there. I don't know. This one here, I don't know. It's just like some colours. It's probably a combination of contrast and non-contrast. It's just a mixture. Added some mixing medium, matte medium. I love contrast paints. I don't know how I'd paint without them now. I think when you just think about them as a paint that you paint over and that's it, you're one and done. I don't use them for that. But they've just got such incredible saturation. They add such vibrancy to your colours. And they have other added benefits in just sort of softening out transitions. It's really good. I haven't tried the Chimera range. No, I really should. This is Chimera Velvet. Yeah. Sean, yeah, you can do it. I'm in my flow, mate, so I probably won't get to it straight away, but we'll definitely have a look before the end. We're getting into the home stretch of this project now, so I'm really focused on getting to the finish line. I haven't branched out too much. I still use the Intensity sketch from Scale 75 quite a lot. But yeah, contrast for me all the way. Indeed, Yab. Yeah, if you scroll back through, probably about half an hour ago, I actually put the whole thing together and showcased it. It is indeed very big and very close to finished. We got a resin pour, we got some leaves, we got one model, and that it. Resin pour, leaves, there's a few little minor details. Oh yeah, and then I'm going to do some electronic. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. What was Camelot? It was less than that, wasn't it? It's a new record. new record, I think. Do 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 do. Back then I'm holding, smiling, loving. She lives in me, says she lives in motivation. For one motivation, she comes round and she comes down on me. And I'll make it smile like a drug for you. Do ever what you want to do, coming over you. Keep on smiling what we go through. Can't stop to the rhythm that divides you. And it speaks to you like a voice to the birds. And the came because she said, I want something else to get me through this semi-child kind of life. Baby, baby. Caw-caw. Which bird? This bird? Caw-caw. You're like a little birdie. Caw-caw. Let's have a look at Shaun the Bandit. I cast magic missile at the darkness. Avada Kedavra. Shaun, let me ask a question that I like to ask a lot of people anytime we're talking about this sort of stuff. How do you feel about it, mate? How do you feel? Good. I think that, yeah, I'd like to see it in the flesh. I think that what we've got here is a case of, so you've done a really fantastic job on the face, right? The face, I think you posted the face a little while ago and I was like, this is the best thing you've ever done. What we're not seeing is enough value contrast shift across the whole piece. So if we were to put this into grayscale, I don't think I can. Can I filter it in grayscale? Color key. Does that work? No. I'm going to try and do it on here. Apply LUT. Let me do a grayscale. No. Surely there's a way for me to do Luma key. That's Luma's brightness. That doesn't work, but that's cool, isn't it? Whee! There's got to be a chroma key. Oh, there should definitely be a way to do this. I can't figure out. Color correction. He's done it. He's done it. Sort of. Let me move it across there. Doing it, working beautifully here, didn't I? All right. So here is the issue that I see when I look at this. When you look at a model in grayscale, what you get to do is look at the value without the color impacting your perspective. And value is as important, if not more important, than the colors that you choose, because value is where your eye's drawn. Now, the issue that you have, if you look at the stick, if you look at the hat, if you look at the face, if you look at the owl, those are all the same value on the value scale. Your face is probably the only one where you've really got to, you look under the cheekbones, you can see the dark shadows, and under the eye ridge, which may be also related to the lighting of the camera, right? But let's assume positive that it's your painting. The brightest area, the highest value area, is this part of the beard right here. And so your eyes are drawn to that, unfortunately, because, and I'll turn it off, hopefully we'll be able to do that. Okay. So when you put the color back on, your eyes are just drawn to this circular area. And so when you're thinking about painting, what I like to do is break the model down into dark and light areas and create areas where the value is dark and put them next to areas where the value is light. And what you do then is you create even more contrast, and you focus the areas that are lighter. So there's nothing wrong with the beard in the sense that it's fine, it's painted okay, but it's drawing your focus away. So we either need to tone the beard down and bring the face up, because we always want the face to be the focal point. I'm going to talk about this in my class at Guild's Inn. Or make the beard darker. See, if you painted that guy with a black beard right now, we would have a very different feeling figure. That would probably be a better overall result. So yeah, it's a great paint job. I think it's easily the best thing that you've done, but what we can start to think about now is value and how we can better incorporate value shifts in your figure. And there we go. Well done. Still didn't know what happened when you knocked upon my door. Then you held the last thing you had before. You and I did not right, this ain't really you. Happened on that day back then, the phone was running long. That is the reason why not everyone could say. You don't have to pretend, try hard. There's some things I talk about that are kind of like painting rules, and then there's some that are just my opinion. That one's kind of like a painting rule. It's not really my opinion. It's just about drawing focus and having people's eyes drawn to the thing that you want it to be, and how you adapt. Light to a three-dimensional figure. No, I very much agree with that perspective, no, Mana, that if you really break it down, there is no rules. The only rule that exists is the rule of cool. And if you do something that you think is cool, that's it. You've achieved success. It's a bit much, Dano. I have no idea. I painted this chick in. It'll be on stream. You can go back and watch the stream. It's probably 12 months ago. Scroll back through the tubes. Maybe there is. You never know, you're like in the big city. Oh, that's nice. Nice non-metallic metal. It looks like metal. It's always just the golden rule. Craig's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the Spira. I do think I'll give it a miss. It's an old granny lady with another bird. Do love that vibe. Yeah. Yep. It's a fair question. Or another way to say it is, if it ain't broke. I like to mix it up. I like to use metallic paints on occasion. Do a fair few board games figures where I use metallic paints, so always feel like I've got my eyes in. Just ignore them, mate. The majority of spiders are a very little impact on human beings. There's only a very few species that actually are harmful to us. I love this story about, I was talking to Raymond Lepart and Raphael Pica about coming to Australia and teaching some classes, and their legitimate reason for not wanting to come out was because of the spiders. Which just to me is a bizarre thing. We just deal with spiders. They just are there. You just don't even really think about them. And those guys were tapping out. It's an opportunity for some gold there, Deno. Cracked me up. No, they're fine. Spiders are fine, mate. They get a bad rap. They do. It is the drop bears, yeah. The drop bears are vicious. I love drop bears. Drop bears. Yeah, well, this chick's come along pretty well. I'm not unhappy with her now. A little airbrush blending. We'll probably have a pretty reasonable outcome for her. The Scroll of the Dragon Warrior. It's just practice, my friend. That is literally the only thing you need to do. Masha, Masha, Masha. It's good advice from the slangers there. Just finished, not perfect. We get many opportunities to make things better throughout the process. They don't need to be perfect. Let's caveat that, Sean. The less you care about the result, Key difference, I think. Of course, you want to care about having a good time. Yes, it is. It is a wonderful, crazy world. There's a lesson in that, Sean. I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lesson in that. I don't know what it is, but paint for the joy, paint for creating things for fun. Just, yeah, just enjoy what you do, friends. Jeez, it's a tough world out there. If we can't sit down and enjoy painting toys, well, as a similar example, mate, if I look back at the stuff that I was doing 2 to 3 years ago, painting, maybe 4 to 5 years ago, it's very different to what I paint now. Um, I don't know if it's worse, but I would certainly be able to make a case that it's worse. I haven't seen Minimancer in a while. How's he doing? Still painting cool stuff. He's normally out and about on these streams. Hope he's alright. We need to commiserate about Wheel of Time. I love James Wapple. Yo ho, Sebastian, let's go far away. Alrighty, I reckon we can pretty much stick a fork in her too. Feels good, man. Feels good. Oh, that reminds me, I need to order a pile of brushes. Well, I've used pretty much every brand that's out there. I was an unabashed Winsor & Newton fan for the very long time, but they had a little drop in quality, so I was forced to try a few other ones and use Raphael, quite good. This is an Artist Opus, quite good. So yeah, I'll be happy with any brush as long as I can smack it around. Alright, quick airbrush. Alexa, airbrush on. What colour do we want though? I think we're going to just stick with the green. Just be a little bit more subtle, Deno. Subtle, mate. Do you even know what that word means? Paint one of our models and maybe even license it. Yeah, that'd be sick. Oh, Maria Pamphilova. Yeah, she's awesome. I did one of her pieces a little while ago. It was the one from Carol Rudick. She did the naked chick inside the big rock. The rock that was shaped like a vagina. big old hair coming out of my nostril. One of the things you get to look forward to when you get older. These big bobby dazzlers coming out of your schnoz. It's good, Yab. It's good from you. 11 out of 10. Yeah, she's stunning, eh? This is the one that I am referring to. There you go. I painted that. It's a great figure. Wonder if we could find my version. That would take a while. Do I feel like scrolling? Sure, let's scroll. Actually, I think I'll be able to find it on Putty and Paint pretty quickly, because I reckon it's in my Putty and Paint. Alexa, airbrush off. Maybe it's not. Could have sworn it was. There it is. There's my. Look, no mana man, I have, but I explained this last time. The airbrush is under the table where it creates less noise and allows me to have a better angle for my airbrush in my new setup. But because of that, it's very hard for me to reach the switch. I'd have to bend down and basically get under the table in an uncomfortable way. So I thought the best way to alleviate that was use a voice command to turn it on and off. There you go. Yeah, if you look back at my Putty and Paint from around that time, you can see a very dramatic shift in how I painted from then to now. And I think I was probably better back then. Probably. But I do different stuff now. Do a lot different stuff. As a fellow expressive painter, Sleepy Slang, I feel your judgment may be slightly biased. And that is probably very true, Craig Zog. Don't tell me that, Sean. I don't want that to be the case. I did go and get an eye test the other day because my girlfriend made me. And it was quite a funny conversation with the chick. She's like, and why'd you come in for an eye test today? I said, because my missus made me. And she said, yeah, about 70% of the men say that's their reason for coming in. I thought, I'm surprised it's that low. All right. We may need to do just a smidge more on her because she's the focal point in many ways. I'm feeling good. As long as me resin pour dries. I'll be feeling really good. The question to ask now, Dano, is do you do the second resin pour today and trust that you are going to be okay? I think that is going to be my approach, yes. Yeah, well, what's the worst that can happen, mate? I ruin 12 months of my life on this project and stop painting forever. Alrighty. She is going in the front. Alright friends, I'm going to chip off. I think I am going to pour some resin today, so that's going to be a fun little experiment. Yeah. Just going to have to trim that bit off so I can get a flush join there and there. Yes, have a great afternoon or evening wherever you are. I'll be taking a photo of this and posting it on the socials very soon, so you'll be able to see what it looks like. But tomorrow night I'll be back and we'll be painting this big bopper, and that'll be it. We're finished. Yes! So I'll catch you all then. Have a great weekend. Big Dano out.